In this video, you'll discover what happens to your body when you stop eating sugar for just 10 days. There's no doubt that people love sugar. I mean, when we think of sugar, we think of fun family times, fun family events, getting together for birthday parties, holiday parties, ice cream, cake, pie, soda. I mean, we think of all these things, but the problem is that it's estimated that people are consuming sugar in complete excess. The average person is consuming over 150 pounds of sugar a year. Now, when we look back 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, people weren't even consuming half this amount of sugar. So it's really devastating as to what it is doing to the human body. So that's why we're going to talk about what happens if you stop eating sugar for 10 days. I'm going to give you a 10-day sugar challenge. So stick around to the end of this video. But before we get started, I'm Dr. Zyrowski and welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, it's a pleasure to have you here. Be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification, join our notification community. That way I'll be able to help you excel your health and your life. I also want to mention the February meal plan is up. If you're not familiar with our meal plan system, basically what I do is I take my food for the month, my food calendar, and I share it with you. It has all the nutrition facts there. It's low carb. It also is sugar free, and it's going to help you hit your goals for the new year. So check that link out right in the description below. Let's go ahead and take a look at the problem with sugar. Okay, like I said, sugar is associated with fun family events. I grew up in a family that was in the grocery industry, and sugar was a staple part of our diet. Drinking soda every day, lots of cakes, ice creams, those types of foods that, of course, are not healthy for you at all. And the problem is that they lead to disease, serious disease. They're associated with so many problems like diabetes. There's a lot of people out there suffering from type 2 diabetes. And of course, it's a result of too much sugar, too long, causing insulin resistance. And many people have pre-diabetes, which is estimated statistically within 5 to 10 years, most of them end up as full-blown type 2 diabetics. And this is a growing issue. Sugar is the problem here. Obesity is another issue. People who have belly fat that they're trying to get rid of. I mean, if you're obese and you're consuming sugar, I mean, it's quite obvious you need to cut back on it in order to start working your weight loss goals in the right direction. But if you have belly fat, there's so many people who just have belly fat. And of course, this increases your risk of disease. And so they have this belly fat and they can't get the rest of it off because they can't give up the sugar. Next is cancer, okay? A lot of people are suffering from cancer these days. One of the things about cancer cells is sugar feeds cancer cells. No sugar starves cancer cells. This is why the ketogenic diet is so effective at being an anti-cancer diet. And so many people who are suffering with these issues do very well on the ketogenic diet. High cholesterol and heart disease causing just an absolute mess when it comes to your heart health. Now, this heart, which is beating 24 hours a day, keeping you alive, working so hard, does not do well with sugar. The sugar causes inflammatory problems in the arterial walls, breakdown in the arterial walls, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and ultimately leads to heart disease. Inflammatory conditions is another thing that sugar is very much associated with. Whether you're talking about like fibromyalgia, whether you're talking about arthritis, or any of these inflammatory diseases like people are facing, diabetes, high cholesterol issues, heart disease, and also people who are suffering from cancer. I mean, this is a sugar-related problem and a sugar-associated problem. Now, when you have inflammatory conditions, it also equals pain. So if you're someone who's in chronic pain, if you start giving up the sugar, the joint pain starts to go away, the inflammation starts to go down, and of course, you start feeling a lot better, and you set yourself up for a preventative model for longevity. Also neurological conditions, whether you're talking about Alzheimer's, dementia, I mean, you name it, the sugar breaks down the nervous system, causes the brain to have changes in it, causes brain degeneration. It is not good. And you know, I even have family members who have gone through this, and it's a horrible thing to see. So we don't want to be consuming a lot of sugar because it causes neurological disorders. Now, let's go ahead and talk about withdrawal symptoms, because you might think to yourself, well, I'll just get rid of the sugar, I'll cut it out. But it's not that easy because sugar has an enormous impact on the body, not only in a negative way, but also in an addictive way. When we look at sugar, it actually acts on the body like very strong drugs do, like cocaine and heroin. And so what happens is when you consume sugar, basically it releases a feel-good response. This is a system in the brain called the brain reward cascade system. This brain reward cascade will go ahead and release dopamine in response to you consuming sugar. And then it makes you feel good. It makes you feel happy. It makes you feel, it's a pleasure hormone, basically. And so what happens is when you're not getting it, you feel really crummy. So it's the same reason that people who are on heavy drugs have a hard time getting off of it. The people who are on sugar have a hard time getting off of it. It's going to cause problems like sleep issues. Okay, so when you go and just cut sugar out altogether, it's going to cause sleep issues. You're going to find yourself, having some issues with being really fatigued, maybe falling asleep really quickly, but then waking up throughout the night, because it's going to really mess with your sleep rhythm. It's going to cause horrendous cravings for the first couple days, usually about 3 to 4 days. According to the Cleveland Clinic, about 10 days in, after that 10-day mark, that there is no trace of any type of cravings at all. So we want to make sure that we're aware. And when we are aware that it will cause these problems, it helps us to not go back. Because if we just go and cut sugar out and all this starts to happen, then essentially you go, oh man, like I need that sugar. And so you go and grab a soda, and then of course the whole thing's ruined. It causes anxiety, even can cause depression for some people. Fatigue, both physical and mental fatigue. Okay, a lot of people are gonna really crash when they cut sugar out, because what they've been doing is they've been constantly in a false way stimulating their body's energy system in order to make it through the day. This is why energy drinks are so popular. So when we cut out sugar, we're gonna have a little bit of fatigue issues. Some people will experience nausea, and then lightheadedness and also dizziness is something that people experience too, because you have so much blood sugar instability, you go from a hyperglycemic state to a hypoglycemic state, and until the body can really balance this out, then you end up with this issue. Taking things like B vitamins helps, electrolytes help, but we have to be aware that these are going to be issues that we will face during this time. Now, the other thing that we have to consider too is that if we want to cut out sugar, you want to do this sugar-free 10-day challenge to cut all the cravings and get away from sugar completely, one of the things we have to do is get rid of it, get it out of our house, okay? Because if these cravings pop up and you have access to it, you are highly likely to go after it. So we want to make sure we just clean it out of the pantry, get it out, and don't start the 10-day challenge, the 10-day sugar-free challenge, until you have the sugar out of your reach, because we don't even want to have access to it. Now, the other thing we have to do is we have to look at all the benefits that you get from sugar-free. We want to talk about what happens to your body in 10 days if you just get rid of sugar. Weight loss is a major one. Now, you're going to get a ton of weight loss because as your blood sugar goes down, you're going to flush a lot of water weight. My brother was drinking a ton of soda on a daily basis, and he cut out the soda, and he couldn't believe how much weight he lost. He lost like 20, 30 pounds in a very short period of time. And so you're going to get a lot of weight loss during that time because you're going to start losing a lot of water weight. And so that's really positive. Most people are looking for that. You're going to also learn to enjoy food differently. This is one of the biggest things I noticed when I went sugar-free is I really just started to enjoy foods for the flavor that they had to offer. When you are addicted to sugar, you enjoy foods for the flavor of sugar. The more sugar, the more you like foods. I mean, you could take probably the worst tasting food and put a bunch of sugar in it, and all of a sudden you would like it. So you learn to enjoy spices and herbs and different flavors and really have a new appreciation for food. And I think that's really important because your relationship with food is very important when it comes to your overall health, when it comes to defeating problems with, getting rid of belly fat, defeating obesity. Your relationship with food is one of the reasons you end up in these different problems. There's so many people out there that are unwilling to break bad food habits, bad food relationships, and that's why they're not able to ever have true health. And so you're going to get less cravings during this time. Okay, when you're on that sugar cycle, it is a very, very much a negative feedback cycle, and it's very frustrating because the more sugar you do, the more you want, and then it just ends up like creeping into your life, and next thing you know, it's just pretty much consuming you. I mean, as someone who eats healthy, and then, you go through some of the holidays and some of these foods that you eat aren't, the typical foods, maybe you had a little bit of sugar, but all of a sudden you notice that it's very easy for you to want more and more. And it just is this cycle that finally you have to realize what's happening and go, oh my gosh, no more. So once you go and cut the sugar cycle and you get that out of your system, then the cravings start to go away and you don't have problems with food cravings. You're not getting hangry all the time. It is a much better way to live, and you're much, much more comfortable once you break those cravings. Better concentration. A lot of people have this problem where they have concentration at, peak in the morning after they drink their coffee. Noon comes around and they just crash. They can't even think, they can't focus. It's a problem with blood sugar instability. So when we cut out the sugar and we start burning fat for energy as a alternative fuel source, the healthy alternative fuel source for the body, essentially what happens, your concentration goes through the roof. You're not crashing all the time. You feel so much better. You're going to also have decreased decreased pain, because I said the inflammation goes down, the pain goes down. Brain stability, okay? When I say brain stability, you can set forth huge inflammatory reactions in the brain, in the nervous system, when you're consuming a lot of sugar and low quality foods. And so not only do we want to increase our concentration and our focus, but we also want to have brain stability where we're not having bouts of anxiety, bouts of just like literally having no brain energy at all. If we want to increase our brain health, cutting out sugar is very important. And then of course, improve organ function. Now, sugar is very hard on the organ systems. It's hard on the liver. That's why so many people are having fatty liver issues, because of the huge consumption of sugar. And then the people who are suffering from like diabetes, insulin resistance, it's very hard on the kidneys. So if we want to improve organ health and also cardiovascular health, we want to make sure that we're cutting out sugar. So what I challenge you to do is cut out sugar for 10 days. According to the Cleveland Clinic, according to much of the research out there, once you cut it out for 10 days, the cravings are gone. There is no excuse to go back to it unless you actually make the choice to do so. So put in the comment section below if you're going to participate in this sugar-free 10-day challenge. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends who also need to participate in this and know the devastating effects that sugar has on your body. And lastly, check out this video over here, because it's going to teach you how you can follow a ketogenic diet that is completely sugar-free and is going to promote incredible health. So you're going to have less hunger, less cravings. So that's one of the big things that starts to pop up. People just notice that like between meals, they're set.